On Saturday, Israel's army cut all supplies of humanitarian aid to North Gaza, emptying out the area and demanding that the more than 400,000 civilians still there move to the south immediately. In what some have called the most intense shelling of the war so far, Israel's army has used warplanes, drones, and tanks to hit key areas in Jabalia, Beit Lahia, and Beit Hanun. On Tuesday, Israel's military then asked 3 hospitals to evacuate in just 24 hours, threatening to do to Kamal Adwan Hospital what they had done to Al-Shifa Hospital earlier this year, when they had scorched it with airstrikes in a weeks-long siege. Meanwhile, Israeli troops have also completely encircled Jabalia refugee camp, reportedly shooting anything that moves, whether people looking for food or trying to rescue the wounded. Some footage shows an injured old woman being carried by several men, with her wounds tied to a plank of wood as they run to avoid Israeli gunfire. The medical charity Doctors Without Borders has accused Israel of emptying North Gaza of Palestinian life, saying that they're creating an unlivable wasteland. The UN has been forced to shut down all of its life-saving services in the area, with only 2 of 8 water wells still functioning in Jabalia. People assume this attack means that Israel has adopted what's known as the General's Plan, created by Major General Giora Ayland, which basically offers Palestinians in North Gaza a choice. Either you flee to the south immediately, or you stay under Israeli siege and have to ultimately surrender or starve. This plan has political support as the only way for Israel to establish military control in the north, and several government ministers have pressured Netanyahu to adopt it throughout August and September. One politician who has celebrated the plan is Likud member and lawmaker Avichai Boron, who said that this plan answered the demands of dozens of lawmakers and that he was awaiting the second stage, where the removal of humanitarian aid would finally force Hamas to break. The plan has also become more popular as Israel has escalated its attacks on Lebanon, bombing several southern cities, including Yarun, Saida, Sur, and Bin Jbeil, while ordering UN peacekeeping forces to leave and establishing a forward operating base nearby. Many have drawn parallels in the way that just as senior Israeli ministers called to cleanse all of Gaza north of the Netzarim corridor, they have also called to cleanse all of southern Lebanon south of the Litani River, and call to create closed military zones in both areas. While hundreds of thousands have been displaced by this and hundreds of thousands more stand to be displaced, Israel has ignored calls for a ceasefire, seeing the cleansing of neighboring Palestinian and Lebanese territory as the only way to establish full control of surrounding areas. While several in Israel call for buffer zones at the least and full-blown settlements at the most, many fear that they will establish a long-term military presence in these areas and that residents will be permanently cleansed from their homes, if there even remain any homes to speak of, in what some are warning could be a repeat of 1948 all over.